Who believes that your network is your net worth? Who really, put your hands down for a second. Who really and truly believes that statement? My network is my net worth. I truly believe that with all my heart. Thank you for participating. That's almost everyone in the room raised their hand. If that is a true statement for you, then why wouldn't it make sense that that would be an intentional part of my real estate journey? I'm assuming everyone's real estate. Is that correct? Is anyone doing something other than real estate? Something other than, okay, I know I spoke to you, J.E., right? Spoke to J.E. earlier. Doing something, most people are in real estate. Shouldn't being intentional about our network, about growing our network, shouldn't that be something that we focus on being intentional about? Obviously, being here, being at a conference like this is going to help with that. Hopefully you want to meet the right people. But I'm going to share with you guys a few ways today how you can be intentional about growing your network so that we can grow our net worth. Does that sound good to everybody today? Before we really get into this, I do want to just take a moment to acknowledge John. Let's give a big hand for John Morey. Guys, it is not, I put on events. I put on a lot of events. It's not easy to do this. And it's not easy to do a conference as well when you don't know. You don't know who's going to show up, who's not going to show up. So bravo to everyone who did show up. When I got the email that said, I didn't know what we were going to do, most of you responded back and said, I'm in regardless. And I was in regardless, obviously out of my love and respect for John, but also because I love meeting new people. I love seeing, I love growing. I want to learn from you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be here the whole weekend because we got a lot of stuff going on. And I do want to acknowledge too, before I get too far, my daughter's in the room too, and I'm super excited that we could pull her out of school today and get her up here, and so she can learn maybe something that the public schools aren't teaching her, right? So okay, all right. So let's dig in a little bit. My network is my net worth. Okay. Let's build a world-class network. There's no doubt about it. The reason I'm standing in front of you today is because I've been intentional for the past 10 years of growing my network. Even something as simple as John emailing me and saying, hey, Brian, do you want to come to this conference? I say, hey, John, I'd love to come to the conference. Can I come to the conference as a speaker? You would want to speak? Brian, we can't. I'd love for you to come speak, but I can't pay you anything. I said, John, I wouldn't take it anyway. I wouldn't want your money anyway. I want to come and I want to give, but I also want to learn as well. Could I come as a speaker? So just doing something that simple and reframing something. You get invited to a conference, I'd love to come. Can I speak? So just something that simple. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be here if I wasn't speaking. I'm just glad to be here. I can't even see this. Wow. Okay. And bear with me too. This is a brand new presentation, and I'm working the kinks out. I'm giving this talk in front of 200 people in about 3 weeks. So I'd love some feedback if I mess up some stuff. Yeah, you're the guinea pig. The key word here though is intentional. Let's be intentional. Let's be intentional about growing our network. Okay. So what is networking? Okay. I think that's and I was speaking with Gabriel and his lovely wife earlier. About that word networking. It has a certain connotation connected to it. And I think what's interesting about that word is if we went around this room right now, I can almost guarantee everybody would have a different definition. I think that is what the problem is with that word and that connotation that's associated with it. Networking. Okay, yeah, I know it's something I need to do. Maybe I'm uncomfortable. Maybe I don't know. Maybe my definition of networking is not what networking actually is or could be as well. So I'm going to give you my definition. It's something I completely came up with. I don't know if this is right or wrong. This is just what networking is to me. okay? And I'm giving you a bunch of stuff here because it would. It's the art of giving value without expectation, okay? The art of giving value without expectation. I gave a talk similar to this a few years back in Phoenix. My good friend Andy Werner is out there. He has a great real estate club. And I got to share some of this stuff with him. And there was a lady in the audience who, I gave this whole thing about how to build a real estate business, how to do deals around your network, and how to network with real estate agents and wholesalers, and how to get deals and things like that without spending money on marketing. I did this whole thing. There was a lady in the audience. I asked for questions at the very end. She was in tears asking this question. And this is a packed room. There's 150 people in this room. And she's like, Brian, everything you just said, I do all that stuff. But I feel like I've been trampled on. I feel like I've been taken advantage of. And I'm ready to quit. Like, I don't want to give value to anyone else ever again because I just get walked all over. She's in tears telling this to me. And I took a deep breath and I just thought about it for a second. I was like, that happens to me sometimes too. I didn't say this, but I'm thinking this in my head. Yeah, that happens to me sometimes too. And then it just kind of clicked for me. That's where I had to go back and add this last part. Why are you giving value? Why are you giving value to begin with? Are we giving value because we expect someone to do something back in return for us? If that's the case, that's not giving value. That's not what we're doing here. That's not what I do. I don't do it with expectation. If you do it with expectation, then you are going to be disappointed. If you do it with expectation, you are going to feel like you've been trampled all over. So I love to give, and there's a great book. It's probably the greatest networking book ever written. It's Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. It's absolutely, that's basically the networking Bible. He's Never Eat Alone, Keith Ferrazzi. He said in that book something I'll never forget. It's, you should be willing to do anything for anyone if it takes you less than just a few minutes to do it. If it takes you less than just a few minutes to do something, you should be willing to do that for anybody, especially when we're talking about, like, in a networking sense, someone who's in your industry, someone you can impact, someone who may be your customer down the road. You don't know. Gary Vaynerchuk, any Gary Vaynerchuk fans in here? A couple. Gary Vaynerchuk, one of the greatest marketers of all time, in my opinion, used to say that he's 51% of every relationship he's in. And I've kind of taken that. I want to be 51% of every single relationship I'm in. I want to give more than I receive. And he wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, which basically just means give, 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 and then you have permission to ask. Give, 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 then you have permission to ask. I want to take you guys through something just briefly here. Robert Cialdini, I'm going to be naming books all day. If you're a book reader, get your notes ready. This, in my opinion, is one of the single greatest sales books. It's not marketed as a sales book. It's one of the greatest sales books ever because it talks about these laws of influence. And I realize I say 6 laws and there's 7 on there. I totally realize that. I did that on purpose. Because the original, there was 6, and then he did a revised version, he added a 7th. But it was originally these 6 laws of influence. And I believe that to be a great networker, to be great at networking, you must have influence. You kind of already have influence, actually. And I want to just briefly kind of take you through these that he talks about. This book, by the way, is super dry. It's super boring. Nothing but study after study after study. This is a doctor. This is a social psychologist. Study after study after study. You're reading these studies. His synopsis of these studies. And he gives, hey, this study showed this, and this is why this is important. This study right here, I'll go 3 or 4 pages. That's why this is important. So it's really dry. It's a hard read, but man, it's powerful. And I'm going to just recap it here in just a few minutes. Here are the laws of influence, okay? Number 1 is reciprocity, okay? Reciprocation. Reciprocation just simply means if I do something for you, you feel the need to do something back in return for me. Anyone ever open a door for someone? Especially in the South, there's like a door and then there's like another door to a restaurant. There's like this little, what is that area called? Like a vestibule or something, a foyer? Okay, I don't know. So I'll open a door for someone, they'll walk through, and what do? They hold the next one over for me. Why do they do that? Why do you do that? You feel guilty. You feel guilty. That's what it is. Reciprocity is really, it's just feeling guilty. You do something for someone, and Adam Grant, here's another book, Give and Take. This is a great book. Adam Grant cited a study in his book, Give and Take, that when you do something for someone, the need they feel inside to do something back in return for you, studies have shown that it's 3 times greater the value than what you just did for them. On average, you're getting back 3 times the value that I bought somebody lunch the other day and they send me like a $300, $200 gift card to a steakhouse. Like, I just bought you a $20 lunch. It's just that thing that most of us feel inside of us, that guilt. So reciprocity, that's a huge one. That's something I use all the time. And I'm not, and let me say it this way. I use this, is there a pointer on here? How do I point? Can I point? No? There you go. I don't do it out of expectation. If they do something back, cool. If they don't, cool. I personally get gratification from just helping people. Just helping as many people as I can. That's me. We're all wired differently. But I love, if I can do something for you and it takes me less than just a few minutes to do it, I'm going to do it. It's because I have this need, this desire to be liked. And I would rather do that. Number 2, consistency. People value you when you show up consistently. And this happens most in my life when it comes to social media. So I post 2 to 3 YouTube videos every single week. And John is actually, with his tiny home community, has been on a recent video I did. But I'm showing up. I have a podcast that comes out 2 times a week. I show up every single Tuesday morning, every single Friday morning. You're getting a brand new podcast episode. I show up. Consistency. People crave consistency. That you're going to show up for them. I know Brian. I can count on Brian. He's always going to be 10 to 15 minutes early for everything. Who was the first person in this room, John? Besides you. Besides your setup team. And not because I'm trying to be the first person. I just, again, I don't know. I'm always early. Social proof. Guys, this is enormous. Why would you do business with somebody? Why, if you don't know someone, why are you doing business with them? You probably Google searched something and you read reviews and you saw all these other people had all these good things to say about them. That means that person must be good because all these other people say he's good or she's good, right? So social proof is enormous for influence, if you want to have influence. Liking. Does anybody in here like me? Just curious. You don't even know me. Does anyone in here like me so far? Just a few of you, okay. Another book. I'm throwing another book out. Sorry, John. I didn't know this was a book club today. Dale Carnegie, however you want to pronounce it, How to win friends and influence people. There's a whole chapter on how to be liked. You know what he says, the number one, number two, the first few reasons, the best ways to get people to like you? Does anyone know what they are? Listening, that's a good, that's part of another one, but yeah. So number one is, what's everyone's favorite word? Everyone's favorite word is their name. Remembering someone's name is the number one thing that you can do to get people to like you. I threw Gabriel's name out there. I threw J.E.'s name out there, just standing up here, just getting up here in front of you guys, because you might say to yourself, I'm terrible at remembering people's names. Well, I used to say that too until someone says their name and it's just like J.E., 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 J.E. Okay, J.E. And I know a couple, I understand there's a few of you that I met. I don't remember your names. I don't remember everybody's name, but I remember those two for sure. So their name. What's number two? Does anyone know what number two is? How to be liked. Number two is, what's everyone's favorite topic? Talk with them. I didn't know J.E. at all. I walk in here and J.E., hey, I'm J.E. And he just gives me his whole life. I didn't say a single word. He just gave me his whole entire life story. I didn't interrupt him. I made good eye contact. I wasn't looking around. I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't fidgeting. Made great eye contact because that was so important to him that I listened to his story and where he's from and what he's up to, because that's his favorite topic. That's my favorite topic too, is me. Okay? And we're going to come back to this one here in a little bit because it's important. Scarcity, I'm going to give you an example of scarcity here at the end. Scarcity, when something is limited, like there's only, hey, John sends out an email and says, hey, there's only one seat left. You haven't signed up. There's only 2 seats left. You haven't signed up. You better do it now. That's more urgent than I get an email that says, hey, we've got 50 seats left and there's a week before the conference, right? Or there's only, hey, this thing's almost sold out. There's only, few seats left. That urgency that you get from scarcity. So how can we create scarcity? Just having scarcity at all gives us influence, okay? And then this I haven't read the Revised Version, so I just added this in there. So I haven't really read the studies on it yet, but I have community. I have a community. I have many communities that I've built, and the power of being a part of a community or a group, especially when you're talking about real estate, just being in this room, you're a part of a community already. It's vital to our growth, and it's vital, especially if you're the person who owns this, started this, has this. John has tremendous authority, right? He has authority just because he's in front of the room. That's it. He's built unity because of this group, just those simple things. So he has automatic influence has been given to him. And then all the people that have been here, who's ever been to this conference before, by the way? Who's coming back? So about half the room is coming back for another time, okay? So he's obviously done a really great job of building community, right? And building unity, okay? All right, let's move on. All right. So just briefly, I just want to kind of take you through my story. I built a really large wholesaling business in Birmingham, Alabama, from 2014 to 2000, let's say 17, 18-ish. I never wanted to be a wholesaler. I wanted to be a real estate investor, but the problem is I didn't have any money, had bad credit. I didn't really know all these tips and tricks that you guys are going to learn today, like seller financing and sub 2 and sub 3. I learned that there's a sub 3 today. That's probably the thing, my big takeaway for this. When anyone asks me, what did you learn the most at that conference? I'm going to say, man, sub 3. Sub 3, wow, I never knew there was a sub 3. I'm waiting for sub 4 next. I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. But I had my head down and I was so focused on me for so long. I was so focused on the next deal, my marketing, get my marketing right, make sure I had my VA set up, making sure I had a 4-person call center taking calls. We're doing all inbound marketing. We're doing radio, TV, billboards, mentioned bandit signs, hanging 150 bandit signs up every single weekend. had a guy doing that. The phone number was 765-2222. Red bandit sign, big old red sign stapler. Anyone know what a sign stapler is? Where are my bandit sign people? We had a sign stapler going. We had a sign sledge. Anyone know what the sign sledge is? We had the sign sledge. You don't know what a sign sledge is before you. Oh, you watched my video. Okay. All right. I was doing that before you were born, but okay. All right. I forgot I showed her that video. I have a video of me hanging up bandit signs. We're doing so much marketing. Obviously, direct mail. Direct mail was the big one, actually. Just had our phones ringing off the hook. So much that we had to build a call center. And again, just had my head down, laser focused on me. And it's good and bad. Good in the sense that super laser focused on wholesaling, doing tons of deals, driving a lot of revenue. What I later learned is that, man, there were 2 or 3 things that, gosh, if I just knew that one thing, if I just knew that one thing and if I just knew those few things, my business could have been so much stronger, so much healthier. I didn't know what traction was. I didn't know how to grow a business. I was running myself ragged. I didn't know how to build like a true business. I think most people who get into real estate, they're not entrepreneurs. They're not entrepreneurs from the get-go. Most of them are employees learning how to be an entrepreneur. And that was me. I was learning how to be an entrepreneur. I was making so many mistakes. And so not being a part of a community, there's a lot of text here. You don't need to read all this. But not being a part of my community. By the way, AI did this presentation for me 100%. I just threw my outline in it, and it did this, and I thought that was pretty cool. It did it in about 10 seconds. Way too much text. I got to go in there and edit that. But what I found later on is the community I didn't have and that I should have had would have helped me be a better entrepreneur. It would have helped me keep more money in my pocket. That's for dang sure. It would help me be a better marketer, more efficient marketer. And what I learned the most is if you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you have to have other people around you in some capacity, even if it's just something as simple as coming to a conference like this. Let's get into this. This is what I actually want to talk about, because this is where I kind of said everything I said to set this up, to leave you with some practical ways to put this into action. Does anybody want some practical ways, things that we can actually do to grow our network? Here's some actual things that I do right now. I'm doing all of these right now, and these are the top 5 ways for me to grow my network fast so that we can go far. And intentional, that's the word. Grow it intentionally, okay? So I'm sure you can actually see some of these. They're buzzed out a little bit. But we're going to talk about all 5 of these in detail. Number 1, attend conferences. Okay, you guys are all here. Congratulations. You've done something that I think is really important. I'm going to talk about this more in depth here in a second because there's a specific way you should approach. And I don't know if John did this on purpose, but I like the fact that I'm going first because I think that this could probably help some of you in here. That how do we approach a conference? We're here. How can we take advantage of the time that we have here? Okay, guys, start a podcast. Does anyone have a podcast? No one has. We have a podcast? What's the name of your podcast, sir? Wealth Talks. All right, you guys get that? Jot that down. You have a podcast? You have 2? What are the names of your podcasts?
Old-fashioned real estate.
Old-fashioned real estate.
Yeah, we just drink old-fashions and talk about real estate.
Drink old-fashions and talk about real estate. Okay, can't beat that. And?
Another one's called Last Life Ever.
Last Life Ever.
Yeah, I'll live in the best version of your life.
Live in the best version of your life. Very good. What was your name?
Jeff.
Jeff. And what was your name, sir? Wealth Talks. Tom. Jeff. You guys got it? Tom? Does everyone know Tom? Am I the only one that doesn't know Tom? Okay. Trying to learn. Start a podcast. We're going to talk about that. Does anyone want to hear about that? Starting a podcast? Okay. Start a meetup group. Does anyone have a meetup group? A few. Okay, good. That's great. That's great. That's awesome. my daily 5. We're going to talk about sending text messages to people. And then joining or attending mastermind groups. I think these, for me, here are my top 5 ways to accelerate my network so that I can accelerate my... That didn't work. I thought that was going to work. Net worth. Okay, let's master the conference. Okay, let's talk about this because we're here today. We're at a conference. What should we be doing? The first thing I do when I go to a conference, this is kind of pre-conference, so it's kind of maybe not completely too late, but I do this first. I need to kind of self-audit. I need to know what I need. What are my needs? Okay, we all have needs in our real estate businesses or in our businesses. What do I need? What am I looking for? And is it, but you mentioned who, not how earlier, right? Who is going to be at this conference that can help me with what I need? So number one is I gotta identify what it is that I need. We all need something, okay? So we really need to, if you're sitting here today and you don't have a single need in your real estate business, you're either lying or you're deeply deceived, okay? We all need something, okay? So step 2 would be I need to know who the person is that is going to help me, or people that's going to help me at least point me in the right direction towards that need. And if you don't know the answer to that question ahead of time, want to know what I would do? We all should know this guy right here, right? We all know this guy? Everybody's here. Everybody knows John. I am calling John. I'm emailing John. Email the organizer and ask them, here's what I need. Is anyone at the conference going to be able to help me with this need? And if so, here's step 3. This is huge. Would you, and if so, to continue on with the sentence, would you make a warm introduction for me? Okay, a warm introduction. Okay, I don't want John to say, yeah, that lady right there in the dress, the blouse thing, writing right here, with the pink Post-it note in front of her, that lady right there, she can help you. I don't need that. I don't want that. Doesn't help me. Okay, I can go up to her and say, hey, John told me he told me you could help me. That's awkward. Okay, that's and why even do it that way when you have somebody here who already knows everybody in the room? Okay, probably knows a lot of people in the room very well. So and John knows me pretty well, so he knows what I'm trying to accomplish. He knows what this other person does. And John, I can almost bet. I don't know this about John, but I can almost bet. If you have a meetup group or if you put on conferences, I can almost bet that you enjoy and you love connecting people. Is that true or not true? I love connecting people. I think that is probably what I'm greatest at, is connecting people. Because if I don't have the answer, you can absolutely bet that I know who does. Okay, I take a lot of intentionality in that. That's intentional, me being able to do that. So, I went backwards. So that's what I'm doing. I want to know what I need. Number 2, I need to know who it is that's going to be at that conference that can help me with that need. And then number 3, if I don't know who that is, I'm asking for a warm introduction. Okay? And then what happens when you start talking to somebody? So what I don't do is I don't come to a conference like this and I'm just like, hey, nice to meet you. 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 I love people and I would love to get to know every one of you, but the truth is I can probably only get to know 1 or 2 or 3 of you really well in the amount of time that we have. And I would rather get to know you guys more deeply, because we've all heard it, know, like, trust. You know somebody, once you know them for a little while, you start to like them a little bit. But how do you do business with them? They have to trust you, and you have to trust them, okay? And that only comes with time, and it only comes with being likable. You got to be likable. I asked this question a few minutes ago. Does anyone like me? Does anyone like me yet? There's more hands, John. The longer this goes on, the more hands that go up. Okay, so I'm becoming more likable. All right, and it starts there, right? You know me, got to know me a little bit, start to like me a little bit, and then once we start talking and build a relationship, maybe I need private money. Maybe I need a private money lender. Maybe I need more deals. Maybe I need to learn how to structure. I got this particular deal that came along. I need to learn how to structure it the best. Maybe sub 3 is the answer. I don't know, but I've got this deal, and maybe I want to go talk to Gabriel and see if that's how I can structure this deal the best. Does that make sense to anyone? Couple people? Okay. What's time? I'm doing great on time. I thought this was going to take 2 seconds. Guys, I am telling you right now, like, if you don't have a podcast, I think that you are absolutely missing out. And I'll say it this way, like, why I don't have a podcast because I want a bunch of people to listen to it. That doesn't make any sense. I have a podcast for one reason. It's to build my network. The most powerful thing I've ever done when it comes to building my network is to cold DM somebody, reach out to somebody I don't know who they are, I've heard of them, and they certainly have no idea who I am, and say something very simple, cutting straight to the chase. Hey, so-and-so, I've been following you for a little while. I love what you have to say about this topic. Would you be interested in coming on my podcast and talking about it? What's everyone's favorite topic? Very rarely do I get turned down. Very rarely. And the people who turn me down, and I go after big people. The people who turn me down are the really big ones that just don't have the time for it. Oh, you don't have that big of a reach? That's fine, because my network relies on people like you that are in this room. And I would want to interview if you're in this room, I probably want to interview you. I probably want to talk to you. You have value to add. And guess what that podcast is for me? That podcast, first of all, I'm inquisitive. I love asking questions, so it kind of fits my personality anyway. But what that podcast is for me is I get to build a relationship with somebody. I get to ask them about their favorite topic. Where this really hit home for me, I was brand new to real estate. And when you're brand new to real estate and you start getting on the phone, you got to get on the phone, right? Start getting on the phone, you start talking to sellers, and I'm putting my foot in my mouth. I don't know. They're asking me questions. I have no idea what the answer is. And I'm just like doing the best I can, right? We're trying to fake it till we make it. And they ask me, I'm jotting down, okay, they asked me this, they asked me this. Okay, let me go research these things. I was on the phone with this guy, a private money lender. This is early on. This is like in the first 6 months of me in real estate. This guy out of Atlanta, and he was going on and on and on. And I asked another question, and he just kept going on. I'm not even exaggerating. I was on the phone with him for 45 minutes, and I may have said 4 sentences. And check this out. At the very end of the conversation, he just, mid-sentence, he just abruptly says, hey, Brian, I'm so sorry. I got to go. I got to take this call. Hey, but listen, it's been, this is one of the best conversations I've ever had. That's what he said to me. It's one of the best conversations he's ever had. I said 4 sentences. It was him doing nothing but talking about himself, and I let him. And what did that do? It built rapport. It built likability. It built trust. And when I get on a podcast with somebody who I don't know, and I ask them just a few questions, just some prodding questions, some great follow-up questions. You know what the greatest follow-up question is that you could ever ask someone? I like that one. That's not a question, but I love that one. How so? They'll say something matter-of-factly, and you just say something simple like, how so? Or as Chris Voss, anyone read Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference? Chris Voss would say, just repeat the word, just repeat the last word they said in a question form. Sub 3? So he'd say sub 3, and I'd say sub 3? And Gabriel would go on and on and on and talk about sub 3. So just asking these types of questions, getting people to open up, it gets people to trust you. And that's why I started a podcast. I met this guy. Has anyone ever heard of Tom Kroll, by the way? Anyone know Tom Kroll? At the time when I met Tom, he was one of the more prolific wholesalers in the country. He started Wholesaling Inc., which was by far and away the best the most successful, I should say, education company for wholesaling. Well, I met this guy. I knew that he was putting on conferences, 300, 400, 500 people. He was a big name in the space, and I was just getting started. I was in the first year of my podcast. I had someone who knew him, made a warm introduction to him for me, and we tried to schedule a podcast. Timing what he was having his youngest son, he was having his child at the time, and just things weren't working out. And I had his number, we were text exchanging, and I'm like, man, I feel like Tom is somebody I really need to meet. And this is 2018, so I was kind of young in podcasting and young in growing my network and things. He was putting on an event in Orlando, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to buy a ticket to this event. I'm just going to go down and fly and just say hey to him. That's it. And because there's also going to be a lot of great people there. I'm going to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great speakers. So I get down there, I text him, I said, hey man, I just want to let you know I'm in town. If you got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'd love to grab coffee with you before the conference tomorrow. He texts me back immediately. He says something like, brother, I'd love to. I got a fire I'm trying to put out. I need, 2 of my speakers just bailed on me, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll see you at the conference tomorrow. 2 of his speakers just bailed on him. Spent like 10 minutes trying to think of a good response. Not trying to make it look too needy, but trying to solve a problem, right? So I just said something like, oh man, no worries, no problem. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. But just so you know, I am a speaker. I have a presentation ready. I think it'd be great for your crowd. If you could use it, great. If not, no big deal. I'll see you tomorrow. He texts me back immediately and he goes, when can you meet me? Like boom, went and talked to him. 5 minutes later, went down in the Gaylord in Orlando and met with him. Boom, you're on. Got to speak in front of 300 people. First time I'd ever spoken in front of that many people in my life. And guess what came from that? Just great opportunities. Great opportunities. Learning from other people. Deals came from that. I ended up writing a book, ended up selling that book to a lot of people, a lot of his crowd, ended up getting people to join my group, my mastermind groups from that opportunity, all because I made the decision to be intentional, to fly down to Orlando on my dime and just attend a conference, and I ended up being a speaker, okay? So just something that simple. And that all started because I had a podcast, because I initially reached out to him. Because I wanted to put him on my podcast. I don't even need any of this stuff, do I? I should just put the number 2 up there and just talk. I'm going to do that for when I talk. Become a connector. And I got a boogie. I got just a few minutes. Guys, become a connector. Guys, this is one of the greatest things that you could possibly do. Once if you decide to start a podcast and you start building your network, now all of a sudden you know all these people doing all these things, and it's so much easier for you to connect people. And guess what happens when you're the connector? You're now the authority. You are now the authority. People come to you and ask you questions. They ask you, who do you know? Hey, I'm looking for this. And that I'm top of mind for a lot of people. Hey, Brian is going to help me. Brian, if anyone knows, Brian knows. Brian can help connect me with this person or that person. And it all started with starting a meetup group. Guys, when you're in the front of the room, guys, whether you like it or not, what your psychology is doing to your insides right now and to your brain and your heart, I am an authority figure. I just am. And where did my authority come from? It came from two places. One, it came from John. If you know and like John, and John knows and likes me, then that means you should know and like me, right? It's just how it should work. When you have a podcast and you're the voice, you are an authority figure just because you have the microphone. That's it. When you're at the front of the room at your meetup group, you're an authority figure, period. You've earned the right to be that because you're at the front of the room. There was a guy in our town in Birmingham who came to my meetups all the time. And we had a large, before COVID shut us down, we were averaging 280 people at our real estate events, our monthly meetups in Birmingham, one of the largest RIAs in the country. And we had a guy that came, and I mentioned something like this. I'm like, I just started a meetup group, and I didn't really know that much. I guess I had some experience, but I just did it because I wanted to. I have a teaching background. I have a coaching background. I just wanted to fulfill like a personal need and ended up turning into a lot of other great things. This guy had never done a deal before. He had been in real estate for like a month. He was learning real estate, and he started a meetup group. And I kind of was like, he's trying to compete with me? What is this guy doing? And I don't believe in competition. I'm a big, collaboration over competition person. But he took what I said about starting a meetup group, and I just asked him, I'm like, you've never even done a deal. I was like, do I need to have done a deal? I said, no. He started a meetup group. They met at a coffee shop, and it grew to like 20, 30 people going to that thing. And he had never done a deal. He didn't know anything about real estate, but he started to connect to other people. Today, he's a realtor. He found out what he wanted to do in real estate. He's a successful realtor in Birmingham, all because it all started with him just starting a meetup group, and he had zero experience in real estate. Isn't that interesting how that works? Yeah, I'm getting rid of all this. Is all. Guys, I love this. I don't want to say most mornings for sure. It's definitely part of my morning routine is I'm going through my phone, and the easy route is just to go through your previous texts and just follow. If it's been a month or two or three, I try to follow up with somebody. I hate that word follow up, but I try to just kind of reconnect with somebody. Just stay top of mind, right? Just stay top on somebody's mind. That way, when they need something or they want, I literally got an email yesterday that said, Brian, I'm ready to join your mastermind. Send me the pay link. That's literally what the whole email said. I'm ready to join your mastermind. How? I hadn't talked to that guy in 6 months. I don't do follow-up campaigns like that. I don't bother people like that. He's just been watching me. I send him a text every once in a while, not asking him about the mastermind, just asking him about him, how his real estate business is. Just following up with people, just being top of mind and genuinely caring about somebody. And not just saying Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving or things like that. Usually it comes from I see something on social media. I'll see something that they post. It's like, and I'll reference that in the text to let them know that I see them and I care about them. So text messages, guys, you should definitely do this. I mean, this is huge right here. If you're sending 5 text messages a day, look at how many texts that is in a year. That's 1,800 text messages in a year that you're talking to people. So I'll go through, what I like to do is just, I'll get into I never delete it. Does anyone delete text? I feel like that's insane. I learned that people do that. No. Well, I'm talking about your conversations. I don't delete anything. I keep everything. Yeah, right. So I'll as hard as I can, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Who have I not talked to? Wow, it's been 3 years. I haven't talked to this person. Every once in a while I'll do that. Let me reconnect. Some people you don't want to reconnect with. But just start reconnecting with somebody. Hey man, I haven't heard from you in a while. Everything good? What are you up to? And then usually that might lead to a phone call, and maybe that leads to something else. And you do it without what? I'm not expecting anything from these people. I'm not expecting them to, all of a sudden they're going to, pay me tens of thousands of dollars to help coach them or help do this. I'm not expecting that. If I can help them, great. But I genuinely care about them and I want to reach out to them. And it helps me be a better connector anyway, to know what people are up to. Okay, last one. Guys, this is so big. Is anyone in here a part of a smaller group of people that meets on a regular basis? Some people call that a mastermind. Some people call that a meetup group. I'm talking about a small, intimate group of people that you can count on, that you can share deep stuff. I have 2 mastermind groups that I lead. And one is our core group that's for really advanced real estate people, and then one's for people who are in real estate, but maybe they haven't gone full time yet. Maybe they want to make it a full time thing, but they've done a few deals, not brand new. And guys, these groups end up being, you talk about real estate maybe half the time, but you can't really separate business from life, is what I've learned. Your business is going to infiltrate your personal life, and your personal life is going to infiltrate your business. That's natural. It's going to happen. We end up talking about life almost exclusively sometimes. People going through cancer, going through divorce, going through bankruptcy. Going through significant challenges in their businesses, and significant problems at home, problems with their children. There's lots of things that happen in our daily personal lives that affect our relationships and affect our businesses. So being a part of a smaller group of people, guys, is so invaluable, almost like a church small group, really. That's what I think of it like. And having that consistency, people have asked me, why would I join your mastermind? I know all the people in it. I can call them anytime I want. Cool. When's the last time you called that person? Show me. Oh, I haven't talked to him in 2 years. Okay. Did you know that he went through a divorce last year? No, I had no idea. Just things like that, where you're a part of an intimate, smaller group. And then when you start going to these bigger masterminds, these bigger conferences, the conferences that are out of state, out of town for you, and you start meeting people that are doing bigger things than you. Doing things, I'm not picking on sub 3. It's just the thing that really sticks out in my mind. I think it's awesome. But just learning that, you better believe I'm going to go home and I'm going to research that. Just hearing what other people are doing is interesting, and hey, should I incorporate that in my business? Being a part of this group is so huge. It's so huge. And it's one of those things too that I can sit here and say that all day long. It's so huge. It's like network. I'm going to talk to you today about networking, guys. It's just one of those things that's hard to quantify. It's hard to, I think, unless you're really intentional about your network, it's hard to say, put a dollar amount on it. Has anyone ever tried to do that? Put a dollar amount on your network? You try to track it so much. Where did this deal came from? Well, it came from that person, but I wouldn't know that person if it wasn't for that person. But I wouldn't even know that person if it wasn't for that person. Wait, now I'm confused. And then the person before that, I met them at church, or I met them at the park, or wherever. It's really difficult, and I think that's why it's hard. It's an interesting word, and it's a word that usually people are ready to snore at. But I also think if you're intentional with it and you really decide to make it a point to grow your network, you're going to grow your net worth automatically. It's automatically going to happen. And if not today, it's going to tomorrow.